activity-based curriculum, developing skills and domains, experiential learning, fun-filled and flexible guidelines and goals, holistic, happy inclusion and insights, joyful learning. Welcome to the first episode of Shiksha Sarthi. And I'm really happy that it coincides with a big welcoming change suggested in the early years, and all of us at the foundational learning level, the whole community of educators, designers, contributors are celebrating this moment. The National Curriculum Framework 2022 is out, and it is based on the National Education Policy 2020's recommendation and finally suggests seamless weave of the 5 years for foundational learning. It's an investment a nation promises to make in accessible, quality, early childhood care and education for all children with simple guidelines to ensure quality and age-appropriate framework. The framework has been designed after global research to suit the uniqueness of our beautiful country, India. After engagement with children, with parents, with 1.3 lakh teachers and educators from 1,550 districts from 32 states and union territories, 35 groups of institutions, 500 papers, 4,000 experts, a 175 strong member constituted by the NCRT, the National Council for Education and Research, and dreams for a very strong foundation of our beautiful country.
The National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage, released on the 20th of October this year by the Honourable Education Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, marks a landmark moment in the history of early years education in India. This NCF of the foundational stage is the first ever integrated curriculum framework for children between the ages of 3 to 8 in India. And it is a direct outcome of the 5+3+3+4 curricular and pedagogical structure that the NEP 2020 has prescribed for school education. Now, this is a landmark framework because it takes universalization of education to the early years, which till date was highly unregulated, as it sat outside the purview of school education. Now with this, it would be mandatory for children in the age group of 3 to 5 years to enroll in a center of education. And this pushes the official age of admission to a school from the current 6 years down to 3 years. Further, this framework treats learning in a preschool years and the primary years as a continuum, thus making transition to formal education seamless. Most importantly, it aims to retain the joy of learning by making play-based pedagogy the core of the learning process right up to grade 2. It also aims at strengthening the foundational literacy and numeracy skills, the bedrock on which the future of academic success rests. This framework is very comprehensive and it covers everything, right from curricular goals to competencies and learning outcomes to pedagogical approaches, assessment strategies, inclusion and differentiated learning, teacher capacity building. It also specifies the role of technology in education as well as specifies the role of the parent and communities in a child's learning journey. Research shows that the early years, that is 0 to 8, are the most extraordinary period of growth and development in a child's lifetime. The foundations of all learning are laid during these years. Getting the foundations right carries huge benefits. It transcends better learning in school and higher education attainment, which results in major social and economic gains for the country. And hence, early learning matters. And this national framework for the foundation stage aims to set the first step towards lifelong learning right.
The Square Panda teams connected us all on the digital space to create a community that brought together teachers, parents, and experts, and people who would just want to talk and share. And this will continue to be a need till we truly take change to the heart of India together. Today, let's look at a few pointers that the NCF, the National Curriculum Framework for Foundation 2022, sets for all of us. These small bites that we are creating are just the beginning, and it's a long journey ahead. And we will address individual points as we progress through the year. Each one of us will need to further this information with self-learning, and it will need a lot of reading, rereading to internalize from what to do to how to do it. The happy part is that we have a guideline and we can weave a common thread. Each one, according to our abilities, can contribute. And like I always tell everybody, in the early years, it's very difficult to say I am an expert, because if we don't change, if we don't relearn, we will not be able to match up to what the learning needs of each generation, because every few years there is a change in the way children learn. Of course, the basics remain the same, but the environment changes. So our necessity to relearn and upgrade and modify and value what we've created is even more. The NCF clearly recognizes the early years as an important milestone and now includes it in the mainstream schooling system as a segment of 5 foundational years for children between 3 years to 8 years, with special emphasis on brain development and cognitive sciences. So much more for all of us to learn. NCF is designed with the teacher as the primary focus, as the torchbearer for this change, making it very realistic and doable, as thinking teachers will give this nation thinking citizens. Different ways for the continuous professional development of teachers is a need, with workshops, interaction on different platforms to engage and empower teachers. And Shiksha Sarthi is one small effort to bring small bite-sized information, thoughts and ideas to teachers and parents. I always say, teachers are my favorite. They will take care of the children if the system and processes take care of them, and I have always believed it right from my heart. I've met thousands of teachers who are forced to follow a preset syllabus, knowing very well that it's not effective or helping their children. This framework is going to help developers create all the resources the teacher needs to enable them to change the traditional classroom to activity-based holistic learning centers. Teacher training, teacher learning material, and teaching learning material is going to be an extensive need, as the strengths of the classroom and the previously set learning patterns have to change. We have to empower them. Hopefully, soon we will see a formal teacher training program for foundational years that focuses on the holistic need for information and techniques to actually take this whole concept forward into the classrooms. Parent awareness will have to go hand in hand to help parents understand experiential learning and the benefits of activities. And the parents support through home activity guides, programs, webinars would gradually make the home and school very vibrant learning environments. And really, hopefully, take away the pressure the parents put on schools and the way the quantum of work rather than the quality is viewed. The good news is that it's based on clear learning milestones and describes the learning objectives seamlessly for all the domains for children from the age of 3 to 8. The NCF is closely linked to Nipun, a very, very well written, fine document that is the National Initiative for Proficiency in Reading with Understanding and Numeracy. And in our next episode, we are going to talk about this aspect of milestones, observation, and so on. The learning milestones are important to understand as they become the guidelines for setting the learning objectives and also help the teachers observe the children for assessing the learning outcomes. So it's a very intricate, very important aspect of the foundational learning. Then comes the children to enter the formal school, that is the beginning stage or the nursery at the age of 3 and reach class 1 by the age of 6. This must be a consistent pattern all over the country if we really want this age-appropriate framework and the whole curriculum to be effective, so that the child of a particular age and the age-appropriate learning goes hand in hand. So it's also really happy to see the Bharat, the Indianness and the deep understanding of what the needs are on ground, the resources that are easily accessible in different parts of the country, the thinkers from India, and of course the global perspectives. A very clear and a very interesting concept of the Panchkosha has been introduced, and it can be aligned to the developmental domains covering the spiritual development, emotional and mental development, the intellectual development, and the development of life and mental energy, and of course the physical development, so important. The document also talks of a very nice word called Smriti, that is memory and mindfulness, that will lead the children to relate and recall. They have suggested activity books offering the children a range of learning experiences and resources and guiding the teachers with methodical, age-appropriate activities. And these are recommended over the traditional textbooks. Play and toys are the key words used and can be described as simply games, manipulatives and resources that the children enjoy, learn to take care of and learn with the help of. So it's an interactive way of learning for children, inclusion of art and expression. Such an important thing for little children, for all of us in fact. Recommendation of technology and digital platform to reach the teachers and parents in the farthest part of India, and building a community that will exchange and share successful experiences and discuss concerns. The most important is the inclusion of children with different needs. Not only special needs, but children who are at different levels of learning, and empowering our system to take care of them. Each one is so important. So where do we start? I would say, let's observe our environment. Wherever we are, we observe it, we list it out. We list out all the things that we have changed and enhance them. We list out all the things that need to change and look for solutions for them. We discuss, we brainstorm, we participate and learn from people with different perspectives about the NCF. Keep your mind open, and if your interpretations are questioned by people, then just understand that it's a way to understand what the others perhaps understand from a different point of view. Let's create an environment to share our smallest successes. Because once we share them, the others feel very, very confident of taking the change forward. So we have to make this a reality together. And like I say, the Sarthi is just somebody who helps to guide the chariot onto the journey which you choose to take. Activity-based curriculum, developing skills and domains, experiential, all of this is going to be so beautiful. And I have tried to map this to a very, very A to Z of what I read in the document. And like I said, this is our first step. So please just listen to this and let's see if we have covered some important points that we read and at the initial stages of understanding this document. Activity-based curriculum, developing skills and domains, experiential learning, fun-filled and flexible guidelines and goals, holistic, happy inclusion and insights, joyful learning, joyful knowledge, literacy, mindful learning, material, numeracy, optimization of resources, parent and empowerment, quizzes and curiosity, research and reading, spiritual development and smriti, that is the memory, teacher empowerment, technology and teaching learning material, understanding and comprehension, vision, and the Panchakosha Vikas, the 5 pillars, wonder, the year of change, and zeal, which is going to take all of us with faith that yes, we can make this a reality. I hope that this little small bite that we created for you has helped you to see the first vision of this beautiful step that we are all to take to change our country. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Square Panda.